Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a manga review on Fairytail Ice Trail by Yusuke, I don't know, Shirado? I'm so bad at Japanese names, I apologize. And if you guys don't know, this is a spin-off Fairytail manga series that follows Gray Fullbuster, which is one of the main characters of the main series, before he joined Fairytail. Where I recommend you read this series, because it's only these 2 volumes, it's just volume 1 and 2, and then you're done. But I suggest reading it after volume 5 of the actual Fairytail manga, because this is where you get Gray's beginning of his backstory. This shows his teacher and how he ended up being an ice wizard, and then this follows after the backstory that you get in this volume until he joins Fairytail as a kid. And I also think that if you've read the first 5 volumes of Fairytail, you'll have a feel for the type of character that Gray is, and you'll like him a lot more than just jumping into these. So definitely read the first 5 volumes of Fairytail and then read this. I'm going to keep this spoiler free so you don't have to worry about anything like that. As I said before, this follows Gray Fullbuster, who is a ice wizard in the Fairytail Guild. He's kind of Natsu's counterpart, like the opposite of Natsu, but they are very similar anyway. He does ice magic and Natsu does fire, dragon magic. So they're kind of opposites like that, and they fight a lot, but in the end of the day, they're very good friends. Like I do with my book reviews, I'm going to give you my pros, my cons, and then my rating, and be done. Pros, I just really love Fairytail, and so it's hard for me not to like a story that has these characters in it. Fairytail was the first manga that I ever read or got into, and it's really the first anime that I really got into. I watched anime as a kid, but I didn't really love any of the series until I watched Fairytail, so it holds a special place in my heart, so I'm a little bit biased when it comes to that, but I don't think my ratings or anything like that are overly biased by the fact that I just love Fairytail and all of the guild members. Another pro is that I was curious about this backstory. With the anime and with the manga, you kind of get just what happened to him a while ago, but you didn't follow him in between that happening and him joining Fairytail, so I was curious on how he ended up joining Fairytail in the first place, and I'm glad we got to figure out what happened to him in the meantime between these 2 events. I also liked the fact that Fairytail members make cameos in here, like Gildarts is in here, and so is Wakaba, and a bunch of the Fairytail members end up at the very end of this series, but Wakaba and Gildarts are kind of the main 2 Fairytail members that show up in here. There's plenty of magic and adventure and everything like that. I really liked seeing the little experiences and the little adventures that he had before he joined Fairytail, and certain things that happened in between guided him to Fairytail. Like, he didn't just stumble upon Fairytail, he kind of made it a goal to get there and check it out for himself. And so a lot of those things I did really enjoy. As for individual volumes, I really enjoyed the second volume a lot more than the first volume. I enjoyed the fluidity. I thought that the storyline was a lot more continuous and didn't jump around as much. The first volume, that's a con for me because it did jump around all over the place. There was no consistency. I had no idea what was going on half the time. This one, however, had a lot more continuity, and I did enjoy this one for that reason. Another con for me, not really a con because it's just to be expected. These are 2 different artists, so there's 2 different styles. Yes, you can still tell who the characters are and everything like that, but here, I'll just show you what the style is in Fairytail. How young Gray is drawn. He looks more like this, and in Ice Trail, he's drawn more like this. So it's a bit of a different drawing style, and the paneling isn't as consistent in Ice Trail as it is in Fairytail, so it's kind of all over the place. But you're not going to get confused on who's who or anything like that. It's just a different art style that you have to get used to. And one last con that I had was that there are so many, like, action words. There are some in Fairytail that describe what's happening and stuff like that, but there are a ton in here. And some of the main ones, you could infer what was already happening based off of body language and how the characters are drawn and what was said in the dialogue and everything like that, but it would label a glare as a glare, or label him being nervous as being nervous. And it felt more like Western comics to me than it did manga, so that was kind of a con as well. I don't know, that one wasn't that big of a deal, but I definitely noticed it in this way more than any other manga that I've ever read. So short and sweet, that's all I've got. In the end, I ended up giving volume 1 2 stars because I really wasn't a huge fan of this one, but I ended up giving the second volume 4 stars just because I thought that it improved a lot, and so I ended up overall giving the series 3 stars. Do I recommend it? Only if you really like Fairytail. If you really want to know what happens to Gray in his past, then yes, I recommend it. But I don't think you're going to be missing out if you don't read it. Like, if you just want to read the Fairytail series, you do not need to read this at all to understand what is happening or anything like that. That's going to be my review on Fairytail Ice Trail by Yusuke Shirado. I will get better at pronouncing Japanese names over time. I apologize. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below any manga series that you would like me to read and review for you guys. If you've read Ice Trail, let me know what your thoughts are. If you've read Fairytail, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.